What's going on, everyone? It's the Armoury TV back again with another exciting live stream. Amazing panel coming up just to preview the Aston Villa game, what we can expect, our thoughts going on around Arsenal. And yeah, without further ado, let's just jump straight into it.
Can't hear a thing, James.
There you go. Right. Better. Hopefully I wasn't muted for my intro. If I was, apologies. As I was saying, star-studded panel, or as I wasn't saying, as I was muted. Joining me, top right, Bobby. How are you, my friend? How are you going?
I'm good. How are you?
Wow, I was doing well until I was muted. You know, we're back. We're good. Joining me as well is Deimos. How are you, my friend? Pleasure to have you back on the channel.
I'm all good. Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm all good. Just relaxing, watching the results today, and getting ready for tomorrow.
Sounds like a good time. And of course, the Armoury TV resident, Gunnar Lex. How are you, sir? How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good. I know it's been a while. It feels like I've been on a long extended summer, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm back. I'm all back. So yeah, glad to just be back.
Good man. Right. I guess we should just jump into it. Aston Villa tomorrow. How are we feeling? Confident? Not confident? I know a few things that have happened today that have been a bit disruptive within the fan base. We'll jump to you, Deimos. What are your expectations for the game? How are you feeling towards it? And has your opinion changed due to what's happened today?
Okay, so initially, I mean, that was one of the games I thought we should do okay with. I still feel that, however, based on our last couple of games, we've had a few challenges, as everyone knows. Yeah. And now with the injuries, I still think we could scrape a win, but I don't. We scraped the last two games technically. A bit of luck on our side with those games, even though we deserve to win. We can't keep doing that. Do you see what I mean? So I love the team. I love the direction we're going, but yeah, I'm a bit concerned because if we scrape through, let's say we scrape through and win, that's not a great way to lead into the United game, is it? You know, so that's my concern. So I just hope we can figure out what we're going to do in the middle of the park and take it from there.
For sure. I mean, as I was discussing with Bobby pre-stream, there's a lot of fan base meltdown going on at the moment on social media. I mean, people weren't happy with Neni, and then now Neni isn't there, and he was the best thing since sliced bread. Like, you know what I mean? Or as I said, Pyramid Pirlo. That's how I like to refer to him as. Great with 6-yard passes, but you ask him anything over 6 yards, not that great. But Gunnar Lex, how are you feeling? Are you confident? Not too confident? Same as Deimos. Where's your head at?
No, I'm still confident. You know, obviously, you know, I don't know how long Partey is going to be injured for. You know, last time they said that, and also about Tomiyasu, you know, it's only going to be for a couple of weeks, and you know what happened after that. So, I'm trying to just cross my fingers on that point. However, on the game, even though we're missing Partey, you know, massive miss. El Nani, that's still a miss. You know, I'm still confident. You know, he's still at home, and I think the last game, even though it's against Fulham, you know, no disrespect to them, but you know, they've drawn against Liverpool, and the fact that we've kind of turned that game around, and that's given me kind of new kind of viewpoint on this Arsenal team, where Arsenal of old, we looked at that and thought, we might just get a point, trying to turn that game around the way that we did. And I think it's also that new kind of belief in a sense of, I mean, it depends on what kind of era you kind of been brought up. I mean, speaking to Bobby on this before, but that kind of feeling where even if you went a goal behind or whatever, You've got to bounce back. And yeah, we're missing key players. But look, listen, I'm still confident. We're playing at home, and these first 5 games, I said at the beginning of the season, not on this stream, obviously can't be on the stream for a while, but I would have said, you have to take 4 maximum points. So yeah, still confident. Nothing changes.
No, that's good. I like to hear it. I mean, that's where I'm at. I don't know if you guys have been watching streams that I've been on, or you probably have heard me. I've been the overly positive Arsenal fan of the Armoury TV. I always get, you chat waffle. You're too happy with how things are going. Rein it in a bit, as Nigerian African asks me. Always says to me, he goes, one game at a time. Just keep your head straight. But great points from Lex there. That I think there's been it signals a mentality shift. I felt like that from the very first game. Considering when we played Palace, like 2-0 at Selhurst Park is a very, very difficult result to get. And I mean, it was only recently that we lost to them 3-0 there. So, and that's why I'm confident. I don't know if you are, Bobby, if you're thinking the same as me and Lex, that there's a shift within this team mentally wise, that we seem a lot more strong, a lot more confident in what we're doing. And it's not like a heads down approach. From the first 4 games, and I know it's only a small sample size, we look a lot more cohesive, more as a unit, there for each other and really up for the fight, no matter who we're playing, even if it is bottom of the league or if it is Spurs or Man City. We treat it as the same, I feel like, and that's the approach I expect we take into that game. How are you looking for Arsenal to continue this fine run of form?
Okay. I was fairly confident yesterday. I've lost that confidence a bit today.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I have to be honest. I'm one of the Arsenal fans that said in January, and I got it spot on, that we would finish 5th. And unfortunately, I was spot on. It's not anything to do with our players. There's just certain tactical decisions that I just don't agree with sometimes. I just think we've made a few mistakes once again. I think I said it was either James or Lex before this, that I would have rather have not signed Vieira and got the midfielder in first, and if we still wanted to get Vieira, then get him in later, because he wasn't essential. He's for me. I'm excited to see him play. I can't wait to see him play for Arsenal, but I would have rather had that midfielder, because then we wouldn't have this problem today or for tomorrow. And then I'd be more confident. But the problem also is Aston Villa are a very wounded animal right now. Very wounded. And you don't know what Steven Gerrard's doing on that. He could be like drumming it in non-stop to them. They could come out fighting tomorrow. What I would say about the Arsenal Villa game, there's not been a draw for like 10 years between the clubs. So someone's going to win tomorrow. I guarantee that. But I'm not 100% sure we're going to win. And that I'm slight. It's not nothing to do with the players' mentality. I just think we will lose it in midfield if we don't make the right decision on who's playing where. Because we're all talking about who can play DM, who can play this. As long as we make it right tomorrow, make the right decision. I couldn't tell you who to play in DM, because there's a couple for me, but it's someone said Shaq, and I'm like, please just stop supporting Arsenal, because have him as a DM is just ridiculous. That would because I'll be doing a watch along tomorrow, and I'll be crying as soon as I see the team sheet. Yeah. If he was if our DM.
Shaq 6, yeah.
But I'd have Zinchenko there.
Okay.
I'd probably give Sambi like a bit of confidence, maybe, but I'm not 100% confident. I wish I was, and it's nothing to do with players. It's just the situation we're in at the moment. That's all. So
that we're finding ourselves in. Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you. I feel like Alexis has been preaching as well that we need Partey cover. We need someone to come in and support him or give him competition this season, because it let us down last season. Same for Tierney, and I feel like we've addressed the Tierney situation. I say that even though he's injured currently, kind of ironic. But we have solved the Tierney situation theoretically, and that was going to be my next question. Is Demos, as Bobby said, we are light at CDM. Zinchenko is a bit up in the air at the moment if he is going to be playing, if he's not going to be playing, because he don't know if Arteta wants to risk him for the midweek game against Villa and might save him for United on the weekend. How would you like to see Arsenal set up in that midfield? just to combat what Bobby's been saying is we don't know what Villa we're going to get. Sometimes they look really, really, really bad, and then sometimes they look like they're one of the best teams in the league. And they've got one win out of, is it 1 win out of 4 now, I think?
Yeah.
1 win out of 4, and the games that they've played have been against bottom half of the table teams. So they're desperate for points. How would you like us to set up to get the full points tomorrow?
While you guys were talking, I was thinking about Xhaka in the defensive midfield position. Although it's not ideal, no, seriously, although it's not ideal, he's done it before, right? So I'm thinking a team that's poor like Villa, we might be able to get away with having Xhaka in that position, and then you've got room for Smith Rowe and others to be in the centre. No, hit me out.
I'm listening. I'm just laughing. That's all.
So I'm thinking we might get away with it if we have to put him in that position. Again, you don't want to do that against the top teams because I think Xhaka's better where he is, kind of playing more forward, helping out now and then in defence. But I don't see him as the sole defender because that's not his. We know how that story goes. But yeah, I think we might get away with it, and I wouldn't surprise me if he's the holding midfielder. I'm not saying that's ideal, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's the way we go. Because think about it, who else have we got in the centre? You got Odegaard, Smith Rowe. He hasn't played. They usually use him on the wings. So who else do you know what I mean? Or as you're saying, Lukonga might get a chance. But to be honest, whatever we go with, we might get away with it. And it might be good because whoever we choose has to learn. And if they get a win, that's good confidence to move forward for the next game. You imagine if we had a top team right now, like we'd be stuffed straight away. Do you see what I mean? So I think we might get whatever we do. It has to be something that we can build on for the next couple of weeks because we don't know how long Partey's out for, and do you know what I mean? And El Nene, he's going to be out for a while, they're saying. So yeah. So I just want us to figure out what we're going to do in the middle. That's my main concern. The rest of the pitch, I'm okay with. It's just that middle.
The holding midfield in front of the back line. Lex, I want to come to you. I've seen a lot of this on social media. Ben White at CDM and Tomiyasu at right back. So the reason why I'm not advocating this, but I can see why they're doing it, is because he played CDM at Leeds when they got promoted to the Prem. Not for you, I take it. How would you like us to set up Xhaka at 6? Is Dave must said? What are your thoughts?
No, well, first of all, White as CDM, no, I wouldn't put that in CDM. I know he's played there before at Leeds. Obviously, I think that was Leeds back in the Championship? Yeah. So first of all, that's a different level. Second point is, even though he's quite comfortable on the ball, I feel sometimes he takes a while to kind of pick out that pass. And where he's going to be playing at CDM, where it's a little bit more tighter spaces, you need to be a little bit quicker than that. So, and I wouldn't put him in this game to kind of experiment. If he was going to do that, you would probably try that in pre-season. So I don't see Arteta doing that, going down that route of putting White there. See, this is the thing. The main challenge that we have is that, touching on what Bobby was saying about it being light in midfield and the transfer market. I don't want to talk too much about transfers, but the challenge is that if you're going to try and buy someone that's going to be a kind of, I should have put, not as a backup, but almost kind of challenging for Partey's role, it's very difficult because then if Partey's fit, he's starting. And therefore, obviously, we haven't got Partey, we haven't got El Nene. And the other options that come to my head was either Xhaka, Zinchenko, or Lukonga. Yeah, I mean, he didn't play Lukonga against Fulham, so that was something maybe telling. I think if he's not going to risk Zinchenko for tomorrow, mainly because of we're going to be playing United on a weekend, that it's going to be either the two of Xhaka or Lukonga. And it's probably looking more likely maybe Xhaka in that position. Whether or not, you like it or not, I'm just being in Arteta's shoes, and I'm just thinking, who's he going to pick? And I think it's going to be definitely one out of those two, either Xhaka or Lukonga. But I just think that he's going to go with Xhaka, just knowing that he loves Xhaka and his an experience that's going to bring. I think he's going to go with Xhaka before Lukonga in that position. But yeah, I think we may have to make a more aggressive push now in the market for that midfield, because the fact that it looks like Leonie is going to be in the sidelines for a while, and we know Partey's injuries records, history. I think we can't leave ourselves too light, especially knowing that the runner games that we're going to be having in especially in October and before the World Cup. So I'm hoping, the Chromikeys bring out the checkbook, and say, Teta, yeah, all right, yeah, cool.
Get someone in.
But get someone in. But yeah, for tomorrow, I'm still confident, but I'm thinking it's going to be one of those two people. But definitely not White for me, please.
Yeah,
No.
White's off the
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's reasonable. Bobby, touching on what Gun Alexis said, I really like Sambi Lokonga, and I felt like when we bought him, he was the heir to what Thomas Partey is doing for us right now. I feel like they're very similar players, but he doesn't have the confidence, as Lex says, of Arteta. He played him against Brighton, and I think against Southampton last season. I could be wrong. When he played, he didn't have the surrounding cast to really help him, and being such an inexperienced player, throwing him in at the CDM position didn't help him last season, and I feel like that's really affected Arteta's judgment of him. I could be wrong, but I would personally like to see Sambi thrown in the deep end at this point, because for me, we bought Sambi Lokonga, as I said, to be the backup or the cover for Thomas Partey as a CDM. There's not really a better game, I don't feel like, than this to get him ready for what we've got coming up, because we do have some hard fixtures coming up, and by the sounds of it, Partey might be back shortly, but Elneny isn't. Would you throw Sambi in at CDM, or how would you structure it? Would you structure it similarly to Damos and Lexa said, Xhaka being that deeper role, or how would you like for us to set up? I shouldn't have asked that question considering you're laughing a lot, but yeah.
What were you doing to me? No, if we don't throw Sambi in tomorrow, then there's literally no point why we've got him at the club.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. That's what he was brought in for. If he's not going to deputise for the two that are already out, what's he doing at Arsenal Football Club? You might as well send him out on loan. It would be balmy, but I do not want to see Xhaka there. I don't care if they literally bring on Matt Turner and put him in CDM. I'd rather have him there than Xhaka, because he'll get a red card tomorrow and he'll be out for the Man United game, and we need him for that one. And that's how I don't like him, as you can probably tell, but I'd rather have him for the United game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, understandable. I respect that. I mean, it's just there's a bad tendency, I feel like we've seen, that the closer to it that he is to our goal, he doesn't look as good, and the risk of him doing something silly, or as you said, getting a red card, is a lot higher.
I've got a question.
Sure.
I mean, like going forward, with Zinchenko being fully fit, who would you start? If you still had Partey on the sidelines, obviously Elneny's going to be sidelines for a while. Who would you start in that position, Zinchenko or Lokonga? Because that might be a decision for a United game. Honestly,
question. Anyone want to jump in?
He's got a very good point now. He's got a really good point.
I'll go if nobody wants to. For
Go
me,
on, James.
Still thinking. For me, I still play Sambi there. And the reason I play Sambi there is I feel like he has a lot more security with Zinchenko and Xhaka in mid with him in that pocket than he does if Zinchenko is playing as a DM and we have Tierney as a left back. And the reason I say that is you compare the game against, I know it's Bournemouth and I know it's Fulham, but if you compare the game against, I don't know, Leicester or Palace, when we had Zinchenko in to where we had Tierney in, we tried to play the same system. We tried to have Tierney in where Zinchenko was playing, and you saw how much technically we lacked compared to when Zinchenko was in the team. And I feel like if Sambi can do what Elneny did, and let's be real, Elneny didn't have a bad game, he didn't have a good game. He had a game where we expect from him, as I said, Pyramid Pirlo, where he is playing 5-yard passes and he's giving it to Ben White, he's giving it to Saliba, he's giving it to Odegaard, and just making the game tick. So that's why I would have Zinchenko in, because I feel like having an extra technically secure midfielder or left back, whatever you want to call him, next to him will just help him so much more than just having Zinchenko as a CDM.
But I think this is crazy, that the fact that we're actually talking about not even fitting Tierney in the team at all, where last season we were saying he's got to be in number 11, like he's the top starter. Now we're just talking about, well, Tierney can't even fit in there. We're talking about dropping levels and everything. It's crazy, and that's why that makes me think that if Arsenal can pull this out, I know there's only a couple of days left, but if we can get maybe another midfielder in that can give us that same effect, I mean that just shows, the levels and that we have in backup, in sense, if you look at White playing at right back, Tomiyasu can't even get into the starting lineup. If we can get that same with midfield, it will just show that elevation that we could potentially have. But yeah, I think I agree with you, James, on that one. Putting the Congo on, but still having Zinchenko playing as left back.
Definitely. Bobby, Deimos, any thoughts, or would you go a different route?
No, quite good with that as well.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Zinchenko is very good. I heard he's very good, like, on the ball. So yeah, it makes sense. He's a proper baller. So if he is in the middle with Xhaka, in the middle, as you were saying, I think it would work. But the only issue is, as you're saying, is Tierney. If he can get back to the level he was at, then that would be perfect. But at the moment, I'm giving him time, but he's just not there yet. That's so. It's a tough one. So can I ask you guys a question? If United was next, what would you go with? The same thing that we're just trying to work out for Villa.
Yeah, I think so. I think you have to be honest. Especially if Partey if he's not fit, then I think as long as Lokonga didn't have a terrible game, I'll stick with Lokonga and Zinchenko, just because the fact that what you said about Tierney not quite up to speed. And I like the fact that Zinchenko, when he can come into the centre, gives us, and also he frees up Xhaka to play in a certain role where he's not in those positions where he's one-on-one with an attacker, and he gets a silly yellow card or a red card. So I think I would have to go down that route. But I have to see obviously what happens tomorrow. But I think I have to stick with that 11.
Yeah,
Bobby, where's your head at? I saw you were mulling it over.
If it was United tomorrow, I wouldn't have Sambi there. It will be Sambi against Bruno. No.
Who would you have?
I would.
Xhaka.
No. Oh my word. I might be crazy, but I ain't that crazy.
I'm pretty sure Bobby would rather play Arteta as a 6 than Xhaka.
Yeah, I'd get a back on as well. I'd be quite happy. No, I'd probably have Zinchenko, because I think he would be more wise how to deal with Bruno. I think Sambi's still learning. I think Zinchenko will be able to deal with that better. Not for tomorrow. Not this. That's for United, but Sambi's fine for tomorrow, I reckon. That's what I do.
Yeah, I agree. I can definitely hear that. We'll go 2 more questions. I'll save one to the other. But speaking of what Lex is saying, and I know it's not a transfer show, but the transfer window is coming up very soon. Is it Thursday or is it Friday?
Thursday.
And so, 2 days? Well, less than 2 days, pretty much. Well, 2 days and a bit. What do you think Arsenal needs to do before the end of this window coming in? Or what would you at least like us to see us do? And I'm guessing a CDM is going to be top of your priority, but what else on top of that would you like to come in? We'll start with Deimos. personally, who would you like? Maybe, I don't know if you want to give names, you can, or positions, however you want to do it. What would you like Arsenal's transfer business to be before the window shuts this summer?
Okay, so I just saw on the message from Tony, Southampton's winning 2-1 against Chelsea. So, but yeah, but back to your question, it's early days. It's early days. But yeah, to your question, firstly, what I would like from the club is, I hope this little injury crisis has fast forwarded their desire to get a CDM. So hopefully, I'm sure they was looking at it anyway, but I don't know. But if you look at the how Edu was in the show, you can see how they are behind the scenes, where they identify areas where they need help. So they're obviously talking about it. You know, it's just going to be interesting to see if they're going to get that person anyway, because we could have done with that third. When I say third, that extra CDM. So yeah, that will be interesting. So I think that is the priority area. But my question is, if we didn't have the injury, would Arsenal have gone there? Keep talking about Tielemans and all these other players, but I don't know. So, but regardless of all that politics, I would like them to get someone in that position. However they get to that point, that doesn't matter. I think right now, I really want us to get cover in that area. It's so early. Look at us. We're top of the table 5 games. It would be a shame to throw it away and say, "Oh, do you know what? We'll just scrape it through to January." Because, by then we could end up, falling down the table. So it would be. I'm not saying we're going to win, but I'm just saying you want to maximize your potential to stay where you are, and that includes getting cover when it's obvious. So that's more my answer. I haven't given you names of anyone. I'll leave it to you guys, but I just want us to identify to focus on that area. That's all I want us to do.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I concur with what you've been saying, and I put it in our WhatsApp group as well. I feel like January we missed a trick by not signing anyone. I wasn't mad that we didn't sign anyone. In fact, I was the opposite. I was of the principle of, look, if you can't get who you want, stick to your plan and get who you want next window, right? And they did that, and I'm happy because they brought in Jesus, and we can all see how he's transformed us, especially our attacking going forward. But what I don't want to see is a pattern reoccurring where we're sticking to our guns, but to the detriment of we're not getting the numbers that we need. And I know we don't want stop gaps, and we don't want players that aren't going to be to the level we need. But I feel like if we don't address certain positions, we're going to see what we had in January with the striker position happen again with midfielders. Lex, I don't know if you're in agreement with that, or if your thinking is a bit different, if you're a bit more positive about things. Is CDM the only position you're looking to strengthen in, or are you looking at other positions in the squad where you feel like we could use an extra person in?
Well, if I'll be honest, it would be two positions that I'd be looking at. So obviously the CDM, and obviously especially because of what's happened with Partey and Neni, and also looking at a winger slash striker, but someone who's fluid in our formation, where he could probably play in the left, play in the right, maybe even through the middle. And those are the 2 key positions that I'll be looking at. And due to the fact that, look, we're going to be playing more games. We're going to be playing, potentially 50 plus games this season compared to last season. And we were out of the cups pretty early as well. So we've got to factor that in. The thing is, it is difficult. I know as Arsenal fans, we all like to be accountants and talk about money. And the fact that if you look at how much players have been going for over the last just couple of weeks, you can see that us going in early at the beginning of the transfer market was really, really beneficial, because we got in deals in early, and we also had a good preseason, but also we got them at prices which, looking at now, is almost, could say, a bargain. So it's going to be slightly difficult now to try and get someone in, especially as he said, that meets that criteria where it's not a stopgap, also someone that's fits maybe the whole project plan, the profile, i.e. being 25 maybe or younger, and also who's going to come in and give us something straight away. So it's going to be tough, but I think if you can't find 2 of those, let's say, if you can't get two players in, I think definitely you got to look to get at least one player in that CDM position, especially as look, this is a chance where we can just really kick on. We're top of the league. You got to really kick on and just really just say, look, we've got our intentions are to basically get not only to get the top four, but also to challenge for the title. So look, to show this that we're serious. So I'm hoping that the guys are thinking about that, but obviously, you got to think about all the other things as well, the other element, and also time is not it's kind of against us. So, but I'm hopeful that they've got something out there
in the background working on it. I agree, Bobby. I was going to say 3 because I'm guessing you're hoping to get someone in to replace Granit Xhaka, but out from the rest of this window, are you as optimistic as Lex, thinking we might be able to get 2, or you think we might get 1? And as with this common theme, this show, is your priorities at CDM, or where are you looking? Because I feel like your opinions on this show has been a bit more adventurous than mine, Lex and Damos has, especially answering the CDM question where we said Xhaka and you've gone nope. What are your thoughts on it?
Okay, I know that we wanted 3 yesterday. We wanted 3. There's 3 players that Arsenal want, and I guarantee now it's probably 4. But he might take a risk, as in Edu and I said he, but they might take a risk and still just stick with 3. There's a left centre back that they want, because a lot of people are forgetting we've only got Gabriel there. Because we've got, Mary's gone, Holding can't play on the left, Saliba can't, Ben White can't. So we've only got 1 left centre back, but we'll scrap that because that could be a January signing. What I would want tomorrow is a midfielder, and I desperately need a winger dash striker, because he has to. Because what a lot of people forgot last season, when we had Laka and Eddie, we also had Biref in the under 23s. It's now the under 21s. Both of those are gone now, both on loan, Balogun and Biref. So we've got 2 strikers. That's it. No one else. I've heard people say Martinelli. When has he been proven to be a striker? I haven't seen it. He needs to be more clinical than to be a striker. Gakpo. Now, I don't know if any guys watch a lot of PSV, but I'm quite a fan of Ajax, so I do get to watch. He reminds me of Armoury. When we signed him from Monaco, he was a tall guy, winger, loads of talent, you could see it, but they kept playing him as a winger. We signed him as a winger. Wenger turned him into a striker. I can see that in Gakpo. If we could get him, I'll be delighted. But I've seen someone mention Tielemans. We've got to stay away from him. I'm not convinced by that guy. I don't think Arsenal are either, and I think that's why we've never done it. That's why he's there. He's literally just on the top of the water. We could just put our hand in and drag him out if we wanted him, but we're not. We're leaving him there. Why? That doesn't make any sense. It's literally 35 million. If we wanted him, we could have easily got him by now, because Leicester are going to have to cash in on him unless they want to let him go on a free. So why haven't we? I don't think we're convinced by him. But that means we definitely need midfielder. I know, James, you said Declan Rice in the WhatsApp group.
Not realistic, but
But my family are Arsenal stroke West Ham. That would upset the other half of my family. But I would happily have Declan Rice. But I also live by the Molineux, because Molineux's there. I'd have Neves. But luckily, no Wolves fans are probably watching this, so I can happily walk around here without being attacked. Yeah, but I'd have. I don't know if anyone's seen Neves this season, but I've not seen him like this for 4 years. He's been brilliant. Don't get me wrong; he's been brilliant for 4 years. But this season, he's put something else in his game, and he even falls back into defence. And I'm like, wow, what a player now you are. I don't know where he's got this from, but he looks something else this season. I'd snap him up, but he's definitely going somewhere, Neves. I just don't know where. I'm guessing Liverpool.
No, that's fair. They're good suggestions and good reasoning as well, for sure. My final question before we wrap up, because it has been a good show, relatively long show for an Aston Villa preview midweek game. Go to you, Lex. Score predictions, win, loss. Where's your head at? Where do you reckon the final result will be?
Definitely a win. A win. Score predictions. Oh, that's a bit of a difficult one. I'll probably go with 2-0.
Mhm.
2-0, yeah.
Confidence. I like it. Bobby, are you sharing the optimism that Lex is putting out there, or are you a bit more
No,
Come on,
1-1
Bobby.
result?
I'm going with. I have a blood pressure problem anyway, and I think I'm going to have to take a tablet before I watch the watch along tomorrow, and a 3-2 to Arsenal. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with 3-2. I think it's going to be
Thrilling
very
game.
nervy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, if we can get that thriller of a game, I mean, I'd like a clean sheet, but hey, as long as we're winning, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Damos, with you, where are you
I
thinking?
I think if we if we make the right choice of who we place in the middle, I reckon we'll create a lot of chances. It'll be like a 3-4-0. I know that sounds a bit. I'll go with 3-0. The reason why I say that, actually, no, wait. It would have been 3-0 if we get the middle sorted. Assuming we don't choose the right people for the middle, then it might be like a 3-1 or something. So yeah, I'm going with 3-1.
I like it. I like it. Confidence. I'm gonna go with a 2-1. Maybe I'm just playing it too safe a little bit, but I feel like I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It depends on what Villa we're getting, because as we've been saying in the show, Gerrard is under a lot of pressure now. He's spent quite a bit of money this season, and we'll have to see. But fingers crossed we can continue the good form that we've been showing in the first 4 games and hopefully blow them out the water. But Damos, Lex, Bobby, appreciate you, but all of you for jumping on, helping me with the preview, because Villa isn't that much of an exciting club, but I feel like we've done it justice. And if there is any Villa fans, it's fine. I don't live by Villa, so
I do. That's the
I'm
problem.
perfectly
I
safe.
do.
It's fine. It's fine. Bobby didn't say it. I did. It's all good. It's all good. But no, I appreciate you all for coming on. Everyone in chat, big up for joining. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you haven't. Bobby, is there anywhere that they can find you?
They'll find me tomorrow on Full Time Sports Network. I'll be doing the watch along for Arsenal.
Gotcha. Lex,
Nice.
Twitter, socials, anywhere you want people to follow you at?
Yeah, Twitter handle Gunners Lex.
Got you.
Maybe
Got
just
you.
that.
And Damos, anything you like to plug?
Yeah, I'm just on Twitter. So it's DJ_Damos. But yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. As always, we hope you have a good evening. Stay safe, and we'll catch you on the next one, which I presume will be the reaction or deadline day stream, where fingers crossed we have some signings and we aren't, upset with what Edu has done. Anyway, peace.
Cool.